Nonverbal communication. At Cornerstone, the missions department strives to spread the gospel all over the globe. Being missionaries and other individuals working in missions, we need to be able to communicate with everyone we come in contact with. Studying and learning nonverbal communication would be beneficial for the department to meet its highest goal. Biblical worldview. James 2:14-26 says, "If one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, keep warm and well fed,' but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." We are called to be examples and image bearers that is mostly done by our actions. How we represent God is through nonverbal interactions with others. Our actions need to be aligned with what we claim. As a Christian, our nonverbal communication is a representation on who and how we can glorify and reflect God. Study A. Learning to decode nonverbal cues in cross-cultural interactions. Summary of experiment. A study was done to test the knowledge of nonverbal cues for Americans and Iraqis. They presented 7 participants with a 25-question questionnaire on nonverbal cues. After they finished the questionnaire, they asked the subjects to rate their confidence and familiarity with nonverbal cues. Critical analysis. Control group. All 7 participants took the same 25-question questionnaire on nonverbal cues. Sample size. There were 7 participants in total, 3 English-speaking Americans familiar with universal nonverbal cues, 2 American soldiers who have been to Iraq and interacted with Iraqis, and 2 Iraqis. Assignment of subjects. The experiment does not say if the subjects were selected or if volunteers. However, they need to fit into categories explained in the sample size slide. Controlled variables. Independent variable. The questionnaire on nonverbal cues. Dependent variable is the knowledge on verbal cues. Results. The study presented an average score for each subgroup. Iraqis scored 19, English speakers scored 17, American soldiers scored 16. They also had the subjects rate their familiarity and confidence with nonverbal cues. Information allowing replication. We found that the study had too many subgroups and not enough people. In order for them to replicate this study, they would need more subjects. Anecdotal evidence. They asked subjects about their confidence level and familiarity with nonverbal cues. This is a limitation because the subject is going by their own standard, which means there is no independent variable. Without a proper independent variable, the experiment becomes less credible. Study B. A cross-cultural comparison of American and Japanese counseling students. Summary of experiment. This study was done by nonverbal acuity of mental health professionals from America and Japan. It tested nonverbal pictures that measured recognition or affective states. The study was administered to 47 Americans and 36 Japanese students. The picture for the study was given to American-born graduate students representing 15 specific motions. The pictures contained 4 sections of the body: the face, the arms, and the silhouette of a body posture. Control group. There wasn't a control group, but 2 experimental groups, the American group and the Japanese group. Sample size. Total participants 83, 47 native-born American citizens, graduate students, 24 men, average ages of 26, and 23 women, average ages of 27. 36 native-born Japanese, counseling students, 19 men, average ages of 36, and 17 women, average ages of 33. Assignment of subjects. The subjects were selected at random. Controlled variables. Independent variable, different faces and different pictures. Dependent variable, different participants. Results of study provided. Results from the total nonverbal test score showed that females were more accurate in judging nonverbal cues than males, and American subjects had a higher accuracy rate than Japanese subjects. The females of both groups attained a mean score of 40.43 on the nonverbal test, which was higher than the mean score of 34.19 for males. Females scored higher than males in their respective cultures. The American females obtained the highest score, and the Japanese females scored slightly lower than the American males. The Japanese males attained the lowest mean score of 29.63. Information allowing replication. In this article, they gave great details about how they perform their study. Because we have this information, it allows us to replicate the study. Some of the details they included were how many participants they have and the variables of the study. Peer review. The differences between the two groups in regard to the identification of certain emotions, such as joy, amusement, and anxiety, may be the result of a cultural influence. The results should be viewed with several notes of caution. First, the pictures were all of American students, which undoubtedly placed the Japanese subjects at a disadvantage. The impact on the scores of Japanese subjects from factors such as tourism and the importation of motion pictures is unknown at this time. The similarity of findings from several cross-cultural studies raises the possibility of the existence of a universal ability to pick up non-language cues about the emotions of people in diverse cultures. There wasn't a complete avoidance of anecdotal evidence because when the study was ran for the Japanese subjects, everything was in Japanese and a translator was needed, so the study favored the Americans more. Conclusion. As the two studies showed cross-cultural comparisons, we can conclude that it would be beneficial for our missions team to study nonverbal communication. When we are on missions, we want to be able to communicate with every person we encounter to spread the gospel.